To analyze the footage, I imported the video's audio portion into an audio editing program called Adobe Audition. I did this to analyze the channel changing rate or scan rate of the ghost box that was used. To help me hear the changes in this FM signal, I ran the audio through a graphic equalizer filter to enhance the channel switches. I enhanced the 500 Hz frequency. And this section here is the amplified and filtered section. And you can clearly see there is a peak occurring here, here, and here. It is showing about 0.486, about half of a second. If you go to the next one right here, it's showing 1 second. So that tells me that the ghost box was set to a half a second between every channel change. That's kind of an unusual time. It's really kind of a long time. You really want to have it between 100 and 350 milliseconds. I'm not sure which ghost box they were using, but the PSB7 goes from 100 to 350 milliseconds. You want to have your time between channels to be as fast as possible so that you could determine if it's valid data coming in. The longer time allows more radio stations to come in. So that's one of the problems I see with this evidence that's gathered. We're going to look at some of the responses and going to see that they're falling within that 500 milliseconds. So if it was set to 100 milliseconds, you would see that a response would go into multiple channels, and that's what we wanted to use to verify that it's something valid. When it falls within the normal channel switching, that's usually a radio station that's coming through. Not all the time, but it's usually what it is. So here I've gone to a portion of the video where the first response is there, where it says, what's your name? Something to that effect. And this highlighted area here is exactly 500 milliseconds or a half a second. So you can hear the response. The problem again lies that this response is within the channel changing rate. And so this could be a radio station, because if this was set to a faster scan, let's say 100 milliseconds, there would be multiple channel changes in here. And if we got this response within those multiple channel changes, it adds more credibility to it, more validity to it, I think. So at this slow half a second scan rate, it just shows that it could possibly be a radio station, because the response is all contained within that half a second. Here's another part of the video where he asks, what is your name? And there's a response. Sounds like Trent. And again, unfortunately, this highlighted area is a half a second. So it's coming in within the channel changing rate. And if this was set at the 100 milliseconds, you would see this would be 5 divided sections. And if we got a response within that, that'd be much more believable that it is an EVP or an intelligent response. Having it within the range of the scanning frequency tells me that it's possibly a radio station that was coming in. So again, if the scanning frequency was set to something faster, it's just a better way to go about analyzing and using a ghost box. So my conclusion is, if the ghost box, whatever ghost box is being utilized, you want to set it to the fastest channel changing or the scan rate. If you have something like the PSB7, I would set that to 100 milliseconds on the FM band. If you have a modified FM radio, I'm not sure how you would change that setting, but it's important to have it change the scan frequency as fast as possible, because in my research and what I feel personally, I think that if any entity is coming on that band, it's not specific on one frequency. It's across a broad range of frequencies, possibly 10, 12 frequencies in the FM band. So having a really slow scan rate is not going to help you produce really good evidence. You want to have this as fast as possible. And I think there's a limit to how fast you can change on these systems, and 100 milliseconds is probably the fastest you could change channels on an FM band. So my conclusion is, again, if this was a faster channel changing rate of 100 milliseconds, and then we got the same response here where he's saying Trent. It would be much more valid to me because it would be 5 channels worth and not just one. This implies to me that it is possibly just a radio channel coming in at that particular time. Just statistically, it happened to say a name that seemed to match the questions being asked at this time.